What's up, guys? This is Smog here, and today I'm going to be going through and showing you how to maximize your DPS with the Beastmaster Hunter in 8.1. So Beastmaster Hunters really haven't changed too much this expansion, and they do have some unique abilities that give them kind of a slight edge over some of the other classes. Right now they're kind of parsing lower on the Warcraft logs compared to other hunter specs as well as other classes. Typically, your mage, shadow priests, and warlocks are really excelling right now. But as you can see, if you play this right, you can do more than enough damage to really contribute to your mythic run or your guild. And I'll go through some of those. Some of the big advantages that Beastmasters have is, for one, is their talent setup. So for talent setup, whether it's raids, mythics, islands, whatever you want to do, the exact same setup for single target and AoE, which is a huge advantage for you. So basically, if you set these up the way I'm about to show you, you can pretty much not worry about your talents. You don't have to worry about swapping it at every single time you get a different boss or anything else like that. Some situations obviously do change that, but for the most part, you can set it and leave it alone. What you want is you want Killer Instinct, Chimera Shot. Natural Mending is the one I go with just because it's a little bit of a self-heal, can be helpful in situations. Murder of Crows. I use Post Haste just to kind of give me a speed boost when I'm trying to move mechanics, jump out of an area or run around. If you have to lock down some items, some mobs, then Binding Shot could be situationally used here. This is the only talent tree that you may switch it. Stomp is basically the default one you want. The only time I've used Stampede was in Uldir against the beast, the Blood Beast mob, when it summoned a whole bunch of blood ads every couple of minutes. This lined up with the cooldown perfectly, and we were able to burn those down. For the most part, though, you really don't need to change it. Just leave it as Stomp. And then finally, Aspect of the Beast. Like I said, single target in AoE, that's your setup. Super easy, right? So I'm going to go through and kind of show you the rotation and basically what you want to make sure you're doing. So first and foremost, always have Barb Shot up. They say you can stack it 3 times and it does a bleed on the target. So that's really important. Kill Command is your primary pet attack. And obviously as Beastmasters, that's where most of our damage is done, is through our pets. So make sure that you're using that on cooldown. I'll come back to Cobra Shot and Multi-Shot in a moment. Murder of Crows, obviously, every minute, cast it on cooldown. And then Chimera Shot. So the one thing that you need to be careful with on Chimera Shot is Chimera Shot will split into 2 targets if they're nearby. And so if you have a mob that's CC'd and you don't want to break that CC, you may not want to use Chimera Shot in that situation. Also, if you have a boss that's not supposed to take any damage at the time, same thing. You can kind of re-angle yourself. So if you've got 2 mobs and you re-angle yourself to where you're only going to hit the one, then you can use Chimera Shot, but just be aware that that situation will split if there's 2 mobs in a general vicinity of each other. Your 2 main cooldowns are Aspect of the Wild and Bestial Wrath, and these 2 should be used on cooldown. I can't tell you how many times people lose a lot of DPS because they try to save these for a boss or an encounter. Just use them on cooldown. For the most part, during that boss or encounter, they're going to come up at some point. It may not be at the very beginning, unless you need it at that time. You can hold off on saving it, but it's always better to use these repeatedly and maximize your DPS than to try to hold on to it and miss 1 or 2 uses just because you didn't think it would take that long to get to the boss. Okay, so going back to Cobra Shot and Multi-Shot, these 2, when you know which time to use these, will make all the difference in your DPS. Huge amount of difference. So anytime you're going to do single target, you want to be using Cobra Shot. Cobra Shot is your single target go-to. Anytime there's more than 1, you want to use Multi-Shot. And the reason why is not only does it hit multiple enemies, but it triggers your Beast Cleave. And that's your pet hitting multiple targets. And that's where your DPS spike is. So make sure that you perfect using those 2 items, and you're going to be all right. I guarantee you'll notice a big difference in your DPS, as well as using your cooldowns, right? So, what's the other advantages that Beastmasters have, right? The other one is movement. So, Beastmaster Hunters can do their entire rotation. They're all instant casts, so they can do their entire rotation while moving. You don't have to stop for anything. So you can continually hit stuff and do DPS as you were doing while moving. Doesn't matter what the effect is or the mechanic. You never have to stop DPSing, so you can have 100% uptime on your mob. Whereas other classes like the Shadow Hunter, Shadow Priest, the Mage, and the Warlock, etc., if they have to move, they got to stop casting and move and then restart their cast again. That's where you can leapfrog and you can really take advantage. I mean, obviously gear does help, but as does everything. But you use those two advantages with not having to swap your AoE talents and your single target talents, and being able to continually move and still hit every target that you're on. You can really make the bind up as far as DPS goes, really make up a bulk of it. So your primary thing that you want to deal with is, as far as food goes, best food for your stat. You know, the Great Feast is the 100 stat, the Galley Banquet is 75, and the Borealis is 85. You know, you just want your primary stat. That's your best food. As far as Flasco the Courage is your agility. You want that one. And then obviously your battle potion is your battle potion of agility. Because agility is still your primary stat. Now, when it comes to ring enchants, and gems, haste is king. So I got lucky here, as you can see, in both of my rings. Ended up getting a prismatic slot on them, and I ended up getting a haste gem in them. So that's really big. You definitely want the haste in there. Haste and critical strike and all that good stuff is phenomenal. So the best Azerite traits is Primal Instincts is the best on your gear. That's just 100% the best one. The next one, I don't really have too many good ones on that one. Haze of Rage is kind of your secondary one. It really ties in to your Bestial Wrath. So when that's up, that thing rocks it. And then obviously Overwhelming Power is also another good one. And that's really basically it. Like I said, it's a pretty smooth rotation. It's really not difficult at all. Everything is an instant cast. It's really just knowing when to use single target versus multi-target, and just having your talent set up the way you need and using your cooldowns properly. So I hope this helps. If this has helped you guys out and you see a DPS increase in your thing, give me a like, subscribe. We'll be making more videos with World of Warcraft, Beastmaster Hunters, and other tunes, as well as doing some survival horror games and everything else like that in those different genres. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.